everyone, thanks for tuning in. So this video that I'm about to do is actually a special request from my wife. So those of you that are in a relationship with somebody and you have a trailer, you understand that that relationship doesn't last long with the trailer, unless of course you each have your own job and you know what it is. When you get into the campsite, you know what to do. You're not in the other one's way or things like that. And so this one, in order for this, in order for me to do this video, it has to have a little bit of an explanation. So we just got back from a trip, and on this trip, we've got two kids, and so on this trip, about 4 hours into it, we had to pull over on the side of the road. One of them had to go to the bathroom or whatever. And when they get in there, the bathroom door had fallen off the hinges. And what had happened is the hinges themselves just actually broke. There are 3 hinges, and the pins broke on them. The door crashed to the floor. Luckily, the mirror didn't break, but it did gouge the floor quite a bit. But what that meant is when I got to the campsite with the trailer, I had to go and buy some hinges. And unfortunately, the Lowe's that I went to was about an hour away. So an hour there, an hour back, after already driving for close to 8 hours during the day, it meant that my wife was now responsible for her job and my job. And unfortunately, my job was setting up the outside. So I felt bad, but she's a trooper. She's had, both the kids. She set up the inside, and then she wanted to surprise me when I got back of having the entire outside set up. That way I wasn't doing it in the dark. So one of the things that she needed to do was to get this awning out, and she looked all over the internet for an instruction guide and couldn't find it. Instead, she found some video that was similar but not quite, but she was able to figure it out. So after a long time of searching, she got it, but she asked me to make this video on how to open up this awning. So here we go. First of all, there are 2 clips that need to be disengaged, and you do this just by squeezing, and it pops this arm loose here. You have to do that on the front and the back. So once I have both of these clips disengaged in the front and back, it is really quite simple. Then I just reach up here at the top, and there's a switch. And I can flip that switch either forward or reverse, depending on what I'm doing. Let's see if I can show you where that switch is. So you see that switch right there. So right now, I have the switch flipped into the down position, means that I'm going to pull it out. And in order to do that, I have to grab this right here. And you see it's a ratcheting system, so it's not going to slam back on you when you try to open it. But if I hold this here and I pull, it pulls the whole awning down. So you can see where it says either roll up or roll down. So I have it in the roll down position. So with that flipped in the roll down position, I can roll that down. Now, these supporting arms, I always tighten these knobs up back here. All right. But what that does is that gives me the adjustment to tighten up this tarp up on the top. This slides up, locks into place. And then what I can do is I can pull down on this a little bit and tighten that. And that tightens this up. And so if it's windy or something like that, it stops it from flapping so much in the wind. Lock it into place. Tighten this up, and now I'm all set. So now I have the option on this model here. So I can either have these supporting legs down on the ground, or I can leave them attached to the trailer. 9 times out of 10, I leave it attached to the trailer. So in order to do that, I pull this handle over here, and then I just lift it up. And I can't go all the way because it wants to tweak on me. So I go the other side. And I do that the same way. But then with this one, I can go all the way up with it. And then I usually just leave this one on, the second to last hole. And so you can see what I'm talking about there. So this is what I'm talking about, that second to last hole. And I do that because if it rains, then it drains all the water off away from my door. And then I just take this and I tie it up out of the way. Now if I did have a spot to where I wanted to unattach this from the trailer itself, then I just lift up right there and I can bring that leg down. So I can either stake this or I can just let it sit there. A lot of times I just let it sit there because it's not windy or something. But then I can do the other side over here the same way. Alright, so to put it away, it's basically the opposite of what I just did. But there are a few things that you need to remember along the way. So this first one, I take this here, and you need to make sure that that is latched, because if you're going down the road and it's not latched, it will beat the side of your trailer up or even tear it off completely. Right? And then now I just release these handles. Again, I can't drop it all the way down because it tweaks on you. So you just go back and forth. And again, I always do the rear side first because if there's any water or any debris or anything on top, it's going to drop it off on this side first. So I bring those down. So this is a common mistake that happens, and even I'm guilty of doing it sometimes when I'm in a hurry. So you pull down on this tab and this releases that, but sometimes you get in a hurry and you forget that you've tightened it up here, and so unless you loosen this, you can't get this back in. So you have to loosen this knob and then pull down, release that, and then let that go back. So again, release the knob, I go here. And now we're just back to square one. Pull down on this a little bit. Flip it to the roll up position. All right, so something else that I want to show you that you want to watch out for is you want to make sure that you have this pull cord in the right place, because if I leave it right here, then every time I go in and out of my door, I'm going to be closing this in and my door won't shut. So instead what I do is I just make sure to either direct it in front or behind the door. And so that stops that there. All right. Then the next thing you want to make sure is that you lock this back into place. All right, make sure those are there. These are little plastic clips, so be nice to them. So here we are, lock that one into place. And then just for me, just to have a little reassurance, I get these little bendy ties here, and then I wrap them around like that. Just so even, these are plastic clips, but even if this little clip broke over here, I'm not going to be going down the road and have this, you know, catch wind and sling open and rip my roof off. So it's just something I do. Right? A zip tie is a piece of string, you could tie it. You do have a few safety measures, because even if this did break, you are still locked in with the mechanism up there. So it's just for my peace of mind. All right, so there it is. I mean, hopefully it helps you, hopefully it benefits you. If it did, make sure you hit the like button. I will have some other trailer videos coming out, how-tos and tips and tricks and things like that. And more importantly, my wife will be able to reference this video if I ever have to fix a bathroom door that falls off halfway on the, halfway through the trip. So it's something to keep in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.